So I got a thumbs down on my last video, and I lost a subscriber. Now I don't really recall what I said so much in the last video, but I do recall that I quoted a Shaolin monk who said that expressed spirituality is not spirituality. And I kind of like said something about people who wear crosses on the outside. I didn't really elaborate on that. So what I think this Shaolin monk means, you know, um, for Christians, to me, in my mind, it's if you think of gangbangers, doesn't matter if they're black or Irish or Italian, but ones that they'll wear a big cross, big golden cross, bling bling, and at the same time they're selling drugs to you and carrying guns. I myself have had a gun pulled on me by a fella who had one of these bling bling crosses who was selling me drugs. Don't ever argue with drug dealers, especially if they don't know you. But that's really beside the point. My point is, what the Shaolin monk said, expressed spirituality is not spirituality. I also said, people who go around quoting Bible scripture, and by no means do I mean people who do Bible studies or who quote it to help people. It's really all in the context of it. I know a lot of good people who will quote scripture, and it's not about ego. It's not about look at me, look how spiritual I am. And there's a couple of guys who I enjoy their streams and videos who do Bible studies on YouTube and whatnot. And by no means do I mean these people. I mean the people who for me, a Catholic. I was in church one time and there were some ladies around me, and they were gossiping. Now gossip is a sin, and they were saying some stuff about another lady in the back, like, "Oh, did you hear what she did?" This is before Mass had started, and then when Mass started, of course, they're all very spiritual. They're expressing their spirituality. There's nothing wrong with going to church and expressing it, but if you're gossiping and just if you don't realize that you're a sinner and you go around as a Christian, this is what I interpret the Shaolin monks saying with Christians, the people who go around thinking that they're so good, that they're perfect, and they point the finger at everybody else. They're expressing their spirituality, just wanting the world to see how perfect they want the world to see them. When it's not about that, man. It's about realizing that you're a sinner, I'm a sinner, we're all sinners here at church. For some people who go to church and hear people talk like that, it's a real turnoff. When you hear the judgmental types who are better than everybody else. Look at me. Look at my expressed spirituality. I'm so good. That's kind of what I was talking about. And yeah, the people who wear the crosses on the outside, who are like gangbangers, Irish, sure they did it too. And I can get into a whole tangent about poverty and whether or not inner city black kids have to sell drugs to make a living. Whatever, man. The Irish came over and they got out. They stopped the gang life. They became police officers and went up a whole new level of gangdom. Just kidding. But, that's beside the point. I'm trying to clear this up if someone was mad at this. And let's remember that this quote came from a Shaolin monk who's Buddhist. Now those are some people who they express their spirituality. They want the world to know, oh, they're Buddhist. They carry around the mala beads, and they talk about going to the Zen center and how they're whatever Buddhists say, you know. Oh, bleachers. Sit down then. Whatever Buddhists say. Don't mess with my Zen. I'm so spiritual. I'm pretty sure that the Shaolin monk fellow was talking about people like that, because in Buddhism there's a lot of that expressed spirituality. Look at me, look how spiritual I am. Now here in America, Buddhism is mostly like the Zen center closest to me. One of the first Zen centers in America was founded by a Jewish man, and most places like that are run by Jewish people, Jewish men who charge people thousands and thousands upon thousands of dollars to go and reach enlightenment. When it's just bullshit. It really is. You can go up to the Abbey for free. You can stay there for free. I mean, you give them like $50. You stay 3 days, but if you don't have the money, they'll let you in. You do some work for them. Well, that's a true way of finding Zen, finding Christ. Being Christian, going and talking with a monk, not some guy who's selling you spirituality. God, man, I had one friend who wouldn't even tell me how much she spent on a Zen retreat at the Zen center up there in the city. Really, that much? Did you learn anything? Because there's really nothing inherently wrong with Buddhism. I mean, I've heard Owen talk about Buddha, and he puts it down. But sure, you can put down Buddhism in the States, but you shouldn't put down Buddha, man. He wasn't a fat guy in the first place. He was a prince, Siddhartha maybe, and he left his castle, whatever, and realized that there was that suffering in the world. Like his parents had sheltered him from that, and maybe it scared him. I don't really know. I do know that Buddhism has something to it. Not this nonsense around here where they're charging you thousands of dollars to go stay a couple days and rake the sand. No, the essential essence of Buddhism, where life is suffering, and suffering comes from our desires. Just try to desire less and you'll suffer less. Don't be so attached. I don't know, man. Like that kind of Buddhism. I like that. I like the idea of that. I don't like what they've done with it, don't get me wrong. I don't like what they've done with it. Even the Shaolin Temple is just a tourist attraction now. And there might be some faithful Buddhist monks, as I'm sure there are. But a lot of the Shaolin warrior monks, they just go there to learn Kung Fu, and they want to be the next Jackie Chan. A lot of them, not all of them. So, yeah. I think that's why I lost a subscriber and got a thumbs down on my last video, is because I said that. Because I quoted this Shaolin monk who said, expressed spirituality is not spirituality, which I still believe to be true. Much like Christ said, don't be like the hypocrites who, when they are fasting, draw attention to themselves and say, look at me, I'm fasting, Christ said it, clean yourself up and don't show the world that you're fasting. It's between you and God. As I believe spirituality is also between you and God, me and God. But there's nothing wrong with reading the Bible to somebody, to teaching others. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with quoting scripture. Unless you're doing it to be a sanctimonious prick. Alright. This is Sean Kelly. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. I love you all. Good night. God bless.